All right, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Now, I tried to wait. I gave a 45-minute heads up. Hopefully, that was enough time. And I actually made a challenge to a dog expert. Now, I've done this before. I'm going to give it another try. I got no responses from the experts in the previous attempts. Let's see if I can trigger one with this video. Good morning. Lala in the building. Sean, Chris, Buster. Let's get into it. Let's just get straight into this. Because I read yet another article that drove me up the wall. And it was an article in the Whole Dog Journal. So in the title, I put anti-dog people versus the Whole Dog Journal, because I want the editor to understand that they're not just responding to or being criticized by me. It's not all about me. You also have to be aware of what's said in the chat room, what's left in the comment section to these videos. Okay, I'm just the audio narrator. And I want to make yet another challenge to a dog behaviorist with a lot of credentials. Now, the Whole Dog Journal is a fairly popular dog media outlet. Here's their website. You can actually join their website, right? You see up top, it's got log in, reset password, and all this kind of stuff. Well-established website, right? It's a dog training website. You know, the owner of this company is a dog trainer. Here's their Twitter. They have 54,000 followers on Twitter. Okay. It's operated by a dog trainer named Pat Miller. Now, I'm going to be responding to an article by Pat Miller, right? Attention, Pat Miller, or Patricia Miller. She actually has a Wikipedia. She has credentials, people. This is from her Wikipedia. Patricia Miller, born October 14, 1951, is a nationally recognized American dog trainer, noted for her experience in clicker training. She operates a dog training facility, Peaceable Paws, in Fairplay, Michigan. And this sign is from that facility. She has credentials, people. Understand me when I say that. She has been a dog trainer for over 40 years. I say again, she has been training dogs for over 40 years. I mean, the classes that she offers, her company offers, $160 classes to learn how to train a mutt. She has books available that you can purchase. This is as qualified as you could possibly get. And that's what I said. That's what I want. Bring me your best experts. I have a question for them. And since they won't accept my offers to a debate, fine. They've put out enough material information that I can simply respond to that. Yeah. Yeah. Ashar in the building. Sibby, Kupak, Jared the dog slayer. Yeah, dog seizures. Dogs are always having seizures. Just shows how mutated they are. Yeah. Their whole neurological system is jacked. I mean, it is toast. They literally, you can look it up, they have more neurological problems than any other creature on the planet. Shout out to Charles V. Curry in the super chat. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, please hit the like button. That helps get the message out ultimately. So yeah, over 40 years experience. Let's deal with Patricia Miller, because the things that she said in this article was infuriating. Now, I went onto their Twitter and I challenged them. I told them that I was going to be doing this live stream because I want them to watch, to listen, and I want to hear a response if they refute or want to refute anything I have to say in response to what she wrote. Now, this was written by Patricia Miller, okay, titled Kids and Dogs. You can find this article on the Whole Dog Journal website. Kids and Dogs. The formula for keeping children and canines safe is simple. Parents need to be attentive, assiduous about management, and quick to separate them at the first sign of the dog's discomfort. Let's stop there. Patricia, what about the dogs that don't give warning signs? Pit bulls, bully breeds, that's what they're known for. They are known for, and they were actually bred to attack without giving warning signs. No, you're not going to just overlook bully breeds. I don't think so. I don't think so. What about the dogs? Now, Patricia, first of all, my position is that dogs should be illegal. Dogs should be banned in this country because they are a major safety hazard. To have them in our communities is child endangerment to the fullest extent, especially to have them inside of homes where children are present is child endangerment to the fullest extent, more so than any toy that has been banned based on it being dangerous. Dogs are far more deadly and dangerous, and this has already been proven. And they should be banned because they are a major health hazard. But let's just deal with safety hazard with this one, because that's what this is about, right? So, first, what about the dogs that don't show signs? Second, Patricia Miller, there's no guarantee that you'll be able to save the child even if you see the warning signs before the attack, because the warning signs may only take a few seconds. You can't insist that the warning signs will be prolonged in a way to give you time to rush over and intervene. I don't think so. That is far too dangerous. And we've seen many examples where dogs have given off these stupid warning signs and the adults were still unable to prevent the attack. It happens time and time again. So the bottom line is the risk is too great. Bottom line. It says these days, now this upset me. These days, it seems that every time someone posts a picture on social media of a dog with a child, it is immediately followed by a spate of posts expressing horror at the anticipated savage attack likely to follow. So she is expressing her disappointment with the way that people say, hey, this is dangerous. You know, they upload a photo like what you see here, child alone kissing a dog, and they say, hey, this is dangerous. You should not do this. Patricia Miller is objecting to that crowd of people. Now, as an expert, somebody with over 40 years experience, that is disappointing that someone like you would speak out against people who are concerned for children's safety. I don't see any benefit in that whatsoever. It sounds to me like your only concern is for the dogs. right? I'm totally against making dogs a priority in our society. There's no need to explain why. Patricia Miller continued. She said, granted, some of those photos are dangerous, but in my opinion, many of them depict normal, healthy interactions between dogs and young humans. That's the way she worded it. Between dogs and young humans. I want to stress again, keep your eye on the chat room. Quite often, the people in the chat room are carrying on with their own discussion, and they are destroying these narratives, many times in a worse way than I am narrating this. You're not just dealing with me here, you're dealing with all of us. Many of them also, in my opinion, depict normal, healthy interactions between dogs and children. She wrote young humans. Listen, there's no such thing as a healthy interaction between dogs and children. Dogs and children should not be interacting. Dogs are predators. Our children have no business playing with, interacting with predators at all, especially when those predators are large enough and powerful enough to mutilate and kill an adult. There's absolutely no excuse for that. That is recklessness to the highest order. Dogs and kids have been happy buddies for centuries. That is a lie. That is a lie. This dog nuttery that involves kids being their best friend is a very recent phenomenon. Very recent. Just because humans have been domesticating dogs for a long time does not mean that these dogs have been the best friends of children. Stop it. She says, while dog bites to children are nothing new, we seem to be much more reactive to them as a culture than we need to be. I beg your pardon? Dogs biting children? You're saying that right now we overreact? That's what she said. We seem to be much more reactive to them as a culture than we need to be. She said, when did we become a society so phobic about any dog-kid interaction? And perhaps more important, how do we help people recognize and create safe, healthy relationships between dogs and children? Patricia Miller, there should be no relationships between dogs and children. Children are prey. Dogs are the predators. My question is, why do you simply oppose the idea of the safest environment possible for children? That's basically what you're doing. You're saying that you are against creating the safest possible environment for children. This involves removing dogs from the environment. If dogs were removed from the environment, that would mean over 2 million children per year would be saved from being attacked by dogs. Why are you opposed to preventing nearly 3 million attacks by dogs on the children? Why are you against that? I see no benefit in that at all. I'm sorry, I cannot co-sign with this narrative that we are overreacting and that we are should be more relaxed and more willing to let kids interact with dogs. To me, that is absolutely ridiculous. So listen, Patricia, I support creating the safest possible environment for not only myself and all people, but for the weak and helpless. That is the young and the elderly, as long as they're not dog nuts. Primarily the youth. It's totally unacceptable to not support the safest possible environment. Now, in this article, she recognizes the statistics. She wrote 4.7 million dog bites occur in the U.S. annually. I don't know where she got this from. She said with 42% of the victims age 14 or under. No, most sources say 50% and higher. 50% and higher, not 42%. Even if it were 42%, that is too high. That's unacceptable. Nearly 50% are 14 and younger. It says, as staggering as those numbers may be, and sensational as the dog mauls toddler headlines are, they are also somewhat misleading, huh? A very large percentage of those millions of bites are relatively minor, so the situation isn't nearly as dire as it first appears. I beg your pardon. Those dog bites that are minor could have been major. They are the same as a near miss at your workplace, and a near miss is taken just as seriously as if the accident actually occurred. Right? Is that true or not? They are not taken lightly. So, I disagree with that. It is a big deal. I don't care if the dog simply just broke the child's skin. That could have been a severe mutilation or death. And precautionary measures need to be taken in response to those dog attacks, just the same as we would if it were a severe attack. This ain't rocket science. Now, keep in mind, she's talking about what needs to be done to make a safe environment to keep dogs from attacking kids, basically. Right? Y'all with me so far? I got to do this thoroughly. I have to do this thoroughly. She says a supervisor is needed when a dog is present with a child. Significant number of kids suffer from dog bites even when the parent or caretaker is directly supervising the interaction. So you see, she recognizes that. A lot of dog sources, they don't recognize it. That most dog attacks happen when there's a parent present. So a parent being present is not the only thing required. She goes on. She said it's not just about being present. It's also about watching closely, preventing the child from interacting inappropriately with the dog, and watching the dog for body language signals that communicate some level of discomfort with the child's presence and or interaction. Now, like we talked about, it's unreasonable to expect adults to sit there and stare at a mutt nonstop. No, stop it. Stop it. There are no parents on the planet that can afford to just sit there and stare at a dog nonstop for as long as the dog is present while the child is present. What are we talking about here? And if something is that dangerous, where you need to sit there and stare at it, it has no business inside the home. If something is that quick and easy to attack, it shouldn't be in the home. It is a safety hazard. Period. Not only that, watching closely, preventing the child from interacting inappropriately with the dog, watching the dog for body language signals that communicate discomfort. Like I said before, there's no guarantee that you'll be able to intervene before the attack actually happens. When dogs decide to attack, quite often, even if the parent is right there, they can't stop the dog from carrying out the attack. They are only forced to respond to the attack, We've seen many cases where the parent was actually holding the baby before the attack, and the dog just treated the baby like a piece of meat, jumped up and attacked the baby. So this is not a solution. This is carelessness, irresponsibility. This is reckless. And it still leaves children vulnerable. Okay? This article continues. There are a staggering number of serious child bite cases where the adult left the room for just 1 minute. She says, never leave dogs and small children together unattended. That means not for 1 moment, not while you take a quick bathroom break or run to the kitchen to grab a snack. Even if the baby is sleeping, take the dog with you. If you leave the room where the baby is sleeping or the child is watching a video, put the dog in her crate. Shut her in another room. End quote. This sounds ridiculous. Again, if something is this dangerous, where you are instructed by the professionals to never leave it unattended with your baby or child, not even for a second, something's that dangerous, it has no business inside the home. It is more acceptable, in my opinion, to hate something that is willing to maul your baby if you left the room. How can you not develop hatred for a creature like that? You sitting here looking at this thing and you know full well that if I leave this room, this dog will want to and will maul my baby. What type of person continues to show a creature like that love and actually spend a never-ending amount of money to maintain that creature's existence? Let's deal with this lunacy. There's no way we can avoid the lunacy. Good morning. Sean in the building. Yusuf in the building. Oh yeah, we're going to have some soldiers on the battlefield today. Okay? Something this dangerous has no business in the home. It is more acceptable to hate something that wants to maul your baby than it is for you to be head over heels in love with it. How stupid. That is so stupid. This dog nuttery is embarrassing. Okay, Patricia Miller? It's embarrassing. And if you want to work in the interest of the people, you might want to consider what we're telling you here. This article continues. It said, even if there will never be children in the dog's immediate family, chances are the dog will encounter small humans at some point in their life. By convincing the dog very early that children are wonderful, you greatly reduce the chance that the dog will ever feel compelled to bite a child. How ridiculous is that? She said, well, you have to convince the dog that children are wonderful. And that will reduce the risk of the dog attacking a child. Listen, if you cannot confirm with the dog using language that the dog sees kids as wonderful, then you never know. This is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. Nobody should have to tell you this. This is crazy. I'm talking to an educated. Let me give y'all an example. Let me give y'all an example of how educated this woman is that I'm talking to you, that I'm talking about. Look at this. This is her giving a lecture.
We're here this weekend to talk about dog behavior, right? And today we'll focus primarily on non-aggression behaviors.
Okay. Okay, it looks like she's up in a university somewhere. This is shameful. I have no business talking to such an educated person like this. I have no business talking to somebody so educated the way I am with so much experience, over 40 years experience. And I have to tell you this is sad. Our professionals have failed us in this country. They failed us. You will never know if a dog believes kids are wonderful because they don't talk. Okay? Anybody who assumes that a dog thinks kids are wonderful, that is wishful thinking. And when a child enters the room, they have their fingers crossed, simply hoping that the mutt doesn't mutilate the child. Let's stop this. And this is still an act of exposing the children to harm, to a deadly threat. This article continues. She says, teach your children. Now, we knew this was coming. Safe child-dog interactions start with teaching children, not keeping dogs out of the home. Right? That's not the first step. You know, not keeping large, deadly, aggressive predators out of the home. That's where it starts. But no, she says it starts with teaching the children. Bring the predators inside the home. Now, you be a good boy. Yeah, that's the narrative. Even very young children, teach them how to respect and interact appropriately with dogs. If a child is too young to grasp the information, then the supervising adult must physically prevent the child from being inappropriate. Let's get something straight here. There is no appropriate behavior that is acted out by a young child. There is none. It's only inappropriate when there is a predator in the home. There's nothing that kids do that can be considered inappropriate. It's only inappropriate when there's a predator in the home. You want to yell at the kids, say, stop yelling, stop running. Don't hug the dog. When that is the example that you, the adult, set. You're the one who treats dogs like toys. If you couldn't treat a dog like a toy, you, the adult, wouldn't be able to treat it anyways. Just like a stuffed teddy bear, a toy. What do you do with a dog? You hug it, you rub on it, you kiss on it. You're treating it like a toy. So don't sit up there and say the kids shouldn't treat dogs like a toy. And listen, that's exactly what she wrote here. Look at this. It says babies and toddlers often flail their hands at new or exciting stimuli like dogs. Keep in mind, we're talking about babies and toddlers. She says, not surprisingly, many dogs are likely to find this quite aversive. When young children are introduced to dogs, the adult needs to hold the child's hands and guide them in an appropriate way, using their hands to touch and rub on the dog gently and slowly, appropriately, without any flailing. It's equally important to teach children that dogs are not toys to be treated roughly. Again, Not only are we, listen, we're talking about babies and toddlers. She's saying that babies and toddlers need to understand that dogs are not toys. Can you believe this? Your eyes don't deceive you. Babies and toddlers, what we're talking about. They need to understand that these are not toys. The way a baby, the way a toddler interacts with a dog is no different from the way an adult does. Every behavior that you consider inappropriate would be just fine if the dog was not in the home, if the predator was not in the home. All these so-called misbehaviors that you point out are only considered that because the predator doesn't like it. Because the predator will interpret it as a threat. Because the predator will view the child as a threat or as a plate of food. Do y'all really want to argue this? You as the professionals, do y'all really want to stand on this argument? It does not look good. It does not look good for you dog nuts. Right? Again, but listen, all you professionals out there, before you respond, keep in mind you're not just responding to me. You are responding to everybody in the chat room, people who support this channel. They have questions. They have things they want to say as well. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. We're talking about babies and toddlers. No, the solution here is to get that dog out of the house. You treat it like a toy. You hug on it. You kiss on it. Talking about babies and toddlers flailing their arms. That is harmless behavior to a human. Only an over-aggressive, brainless mutant dog would attack a baby for doing anything that babies do. Now, you're not going to tell me that this is acceptable, to question the natural behavior of our babies and toddlers, to question it and deem it misbehavior simply because the dog don't like it. No, I don't think so. This thing continues. It says, watch that body talk. It says, anytime your dog shows any sign of being uncomfortable with your child's presence, you must separate the dog and the child to protect them both. What do you mean protect them both? The only one who would be in danger is the child. Child not going to do nothing to the dog. Of course, in order to do this, you must understand dog body language well enough to recognize when a dog is expressing discomfort. Everything makes these things uncomfortable. You notice the game they play? They list this big, they give you a huge list of things that make dogs uncomfortable, which is another way of saying that any and everything will make them uncomfortable. They give this long list of warning signs that dogs do or give. These little faint, subtle behaviors, harmless behaviors that's a sign that a dog is stressed. Do you notice that's just another way of admitting that there's no way to know when a dog is going to attack? That's your way of admitting that there are no signs. Because you're sitting up here saying that all the types of behaviors that a dog could possibly do could be as a sign of stress. All right, we'll get into it. She talks about it right here. In the sidebar, we share some different ways your dog may be telling you she's uncomfortable. It's an extensive list, not complete. Study it. Then watch your dog for any of these behaviors, both with children present and absent. Anytime you observe stress signals from your dog in the presence of children, it's wise to take immediate steps to reduce stress. If you're managing, supervising, and training your dog around kids, you're having trouble determining what your dog is trying to tell you with his body language communications, ask for a force-free dog training professional to help you. It could save your dog's life and your child's. You see that? So in other words, she recognizes that the presence of the dog is a threat to the child's life. Yeah, I believe she actually wrote that. That last sentence is her way of recognizing that the child's life is threatened just by the mere presence of a predator, obviously. Notice how she mentioned the dog's life first. It could save your dog's life and your child's. Huh? It could save your dog's life only after your child is dead. We're talking about dog attacks. So if the dog attacks the child is dead. Now they're saying, well, now you have to worry about the dog dying. The dog killed your child. Well, guess what? I have even worse news for you, parent. Now your dog is going to get put down. You can't make this up. You cannot make this up. Unbelievable. Now that big crazy, this is also in that article. A dictionary of canine stress signals. Avoidance, dog turns away, shuts down. Barking, brow ridges, furrows or muscle ridges in the dog's forehead and around the eyes. Huh? Drooling, excessive grooming, hyperactivity, immune system disorders. These are signs of stress. Mouthing, lowered body posture, leaning or clinging, lack of attention, focus, obsessive compulsive disorders, panting, stretching, stiff movement. They're saying if the dog simply sits still, that's a sign of stress. So look, sweaty paws, trembling, whining, yawning, this is basically anything the dog is possibly capable of doing. They're saying that's a sign of stress. Your child's life is in danger if you see any of these things. Again, this is another way of saying that you have no warning signs. If every and anything is a warning sign, then there are no warning signs. What are you talking about? See how ridiculous this is? See how satanic this is? This is some demonic, devilish stuff right here. Bar none. Shout out to Lala in the super chat. Oh yes. Oh yes. This dog nut culture, it begs to be put on blast. It begs. So I disagree here with you, Patricia Miller. Dogs should be banned. Like I've said, several toys have been banned that were nowhere near as dangerous as dogs. They had nowhere near the amount of injuries, deaths that dogs cause every single year. Is not even close. They should be banned. It is unreasonable to expect anybody to memorize all of these subtle, harmless behaviors, to see them, to sit there staring at that mutt nonstop, day in and day out. I don't think so. I know when something is unreasonable when I hear it. Don't tell me that this is an accurate response to predators in our community mutilating our youth. That's what this boils down to. And this is why you should only deal with your own kind. Because stress signals from humans are obvious. I mean, look at stretching, panting. Dogs do stuff like this all the time. And they're saying that you can't even trust when a dog is sitting perfectly still. They're saying you can't even trust that. Possible sign of attack. In other words, get that flipping thing out of the house. That's basically what you're saying. I'm not going to accept anything other than that. That's what you're saying. Let's stop playing dumb here. You're admitting that these things have no business inside of a home where kids are present. Thus, has no business in our communities. Because quite often, these things will break free and attack someone's child who doesn't live in the home. Child across the street, so on and so forth. So feel free to respond, Patricia Miller, if you want. But I'm going to leave this up. I'm going to tag the whole dog journal, right? I'm going to hashtag it, put in the description box. Same with the author, Patricia Miller, and trainer of this article. No. You're not just going to get away with rhetoric like this. I don't think so. 2021 has been a horrible year in terms of dog attacks. Okay, a horrible year. Y'all remember this boy was mauled to death, right? What was his name? Okay, it doesn't include his name, which is pretty common. Pretty common for them to not include the name of the victim. But this woman brought in a stray pit bull, took a picture of it. Y'all remember after the attack, she did a live stream saying that her and her family, they need space. We need space. This pit bull wandered onto their property. She was in the process of trying to find the dog a permanent home when this incident happened. My 6-year-old little boy was attacked early this afternoon by a pit bull that I had been trying to find a home for. It had been abandoned on our property. Here's a picture of the dog. So she brought in a stray pit bull, put it on a little thing, put a cover over it, and took a photo and uploaded this photo to social media for likes. Right? Ain't that what happened? These attacks occur in an instant without warning. Right? The pit bull does not communicate an intention to attack. They will attack without warning and will attack in the absence of species-specific signs. You telling me as a professional that at the very least pit bulls should not be banned? No, based on these facts, they should be banned. Horrible, horrible story. This took place earlier this year. Another one took place earlier this year. These are deaths of kids only. Deaths. I'm not dealing with mutilations. There are far more mutilations. Far more. Newborn. Baby girl was killed. 1-month-old baby. Do you think this 1-month-old was flailing her arms? Is that what you're trying to say? And that there must have been some type of sign? Even if there are signs, even if you do see signs of stress by the dog, signs of an attack by the dog, Let's say you got a little 120-pound woman with a big pit bull. Do you think even if she sees the signs, she's going to be able to stop that mutt? What are we talking about? This is how irresponsible, this is the irresponsible world that you co-sign with, that you support. All she could do is react. And her chances of prying her baby out of a pit bull's jaws, very slim to none. Let's stop playing dumb. This is an insult to your profession. An insult to your profession. You should be uncomfortable with this. Another death this year. Okay? 3-year-old boy was killed when 2 pit bulls got loose and attacked him while he was in his own backyard. Okay, Patricia Miller. So we can't blame the boy for anything here. It just so happens this is the case with every dog attack. Every one. It never involves kids agitating the dogs. Never, ever, ever. These kids are always attacked, unprovoked, always. And the kids who are attacked when they try to pet a dog, who's to blame? The child or the adult who brought the dogs into the home, into the society, and allowed it to happen? Who taught the child to pet dogs? That's what you did. So, are you saying that this boy was, what was he doing? Flailing his arms? And brought this attack onto himself? Let's get real. We both know that as soon as dogs get loose, first thing they do is look for somebody to attack. Don't nobody have to be threatening these mutants. Nobody have to be threatening. Yes, I'm calling them mutants. That's exactly what they are, Patricia Miller. They are mutants. This has been scientifically proven. Dogs are mutants that carry multiple mutations, physical mutations. These are mutants. This boy didn't do nothing to that mutt. Y'all remember earlier this year, A Miracle was her name? Okay. My bad. This boy's name was Aziz Ahmed. Y'all remember? We talked about all these stories. We talked about A Miracle. Said that she was near the dog's food bowl and reached for the dog's food. So was it her fault that she got killed? Or was it the parents' fault who brought the dog into the home? You can't go around blaming kids. No, the first step is not talking about child behavior. No, the first step is you as the adult creating a safe environment for the child to be a child. That's the first step. And you fail when you bring a predator into the home. Let's stop playing dumb here. We're playing dumb. Again, it's an insult to your profession. Y'all remember Jaden Henderson, where we signed this petition? Matter of fact, y'all can still sign this petition. Again, you can just Google change Jaden Henderson, because it's almost at 10,000 signatures. And I guess once it gets 10,000 signatures, there's a greater chance that it will be responded to by lawmakers and stuff. All right, so still sign that petition if you haven't already. What did she do? What did she do? She didn't do nothing. Didn't do nothing. Those mutts simply took the opportunity to attack. Okay, she was outside. Nobody saw exactly what happened, but the adult, the parent, she let that girl outside to play with these 2 dogs all by herself. Right? She was not charged, I don't think. Another one that happened this year. These are deaths. Deaths only. 4-year-old girl mauled to death by her family's mixed breed pit bull in her own backyard. Died an hour later. Mixed breed. Arriving officers found the child seriously injured by the dog in the backyard. Telling me that she was doing something to provoke this mutt? Stop it. Stop it. Another death this year. Y'all remember this? 4-year-old boy killed by his grandparents' Rottweilers. The boy left his grandparents, who were outside the home, to go inside the home. After 45 minutes, his grandparents went to check on him and found him dead. Dogs had killed him. Get this. The boy had grown up with the Rottweilers since they were puppies. Huh? He had grown up with the Rottweilers since they were puppies. Wouldn't you say that this was probably a loving relationship where the dog loves and adores the kids? They said that there were no indications or reports of the dogs showing viciousness in the past. It was ruled an accident. This was no accident. This was sacrifice. Patricia Miller, I charge the dog-loving world with participating in a child sacrifice cult. You sacrifice the kids' safety for dogs. The only way dogs can exist in our society and homes is if you sacrifice the kids' safety. So all you do is bring these predators around in the home, in the society, and hope that it never attacks. Oh, please don't attack. Come rub on the dog now. And of course, we know that there's a lot more going on aside from that. That's not the only motivation for having these mutants around in our community. And it is very inappropriate. You know what I'm talking about. What was this baby doing? Was the baby flailing? Was she flailing her arms? The baby was being held by a family member when the dog jumped up on the family member and killed the baby. And you telling me the first step in preventing dogs from mutilating kids is to teach kids about proper behavior? Is to teach babies and toddlers that dogs are not toys? Is to hold and control their arms? No. The first step is to not allow these worthless mutants into our society. Period. As simple as that. We don't need them. They only hurt our society. They are the cause of millions of attacks, injuries, tens of thousands of reconstructive surgeries, dozens of deaths every single year. They are the source of illness, bacteria, viruses, germs, parasites. We would be better off without them. 13-year-old found dead. Killed by a pack of dogs. You think she was antagonizing these mutts? That what you're saying? This is all this year. All of these deaths were from this year. Baby's father stepped out briefly and he was speaking to a neighbor when he heard a commotion inside. He went back inside to find the Rottweilers attacking the baby. Killed the baby, 10 months old. You telling me that most likely the baby was doing something to the Rottweilers? Huh? Y'all remember the baby fell from the window and then got attacked and killed by pit bulls. Well, we know this 3-year-old boy didn't do anything other than fall from a window. Right? Y'all remember Shamar Jackson, 7 years old, killed by a pack of loose mutts. You think he was antagonizing those mutts? 19-month-old Ryan Foster mauled to death by family dog. Video shows the kids, who police say are 9 and 11, run outside. Y'all remember this was a horrible video. I believe it was in New York, where the surveillance camera caught the kids running outside of the apartment looking for help. You think this 19-month-old baby did something? You think the first step in preventing stuff like this is to teach the 19-month-old that the dog is not a toy and that they need to not flail their arms? This is embarrassing. You should be ashamed of yourself, all you professionals. This is nuttery. 1 year, this is all this year. All of this took place this year. 1-year-old girl killed by a mutt. She was being watched by her uncle. Her uncle was arguing with a woman on the front porch. The little girl was left inside the house with 2 dogs. And they claimed that it was because of the argument that the dogs turned. Look, they wrote that the dogs reacted and turned their aggression to the 16-month-old little girl. So it wasn't the dog's fault. It was your fault for arguing. The sound of your voice caused this dog to want to attack. That's one of the triggers. You should have been staring at the dog. You should not have been arguing. Is that the argument? The dog, hearing an argument, it responded by mutilating a helpless 16-month-old girl. And you're telling the first step to stop this is to teach these little horrible kids, teach these little devilish kids how to behave around dogs. Oh, those dogs didn't do anything. Those kids were probably doing something and caused their own death. These deaths are all from this year. Right? 7-month-old killed. And the mother came out and said, if you have any doubt about an animal, please just get rid of the dog or something. You wouldn't expect it to happen, but it does. Patricia Miller, you know full well that there are a lot of people out here who don't beat their dogs. They raise them from a puppy, and they are nothing but nice, kind, and sweet. They don't even have it in them to beat on these dogs. It seems to me that it's usually those people who have their babies and kids attacked. It's usually those people who raise the dog with love. There's no abuse involved. It's less often the alpha type of dog owners. Less often, but they still attack. They still get attacked. They're all over here on YouTube. I don't get happy dog nuts because I said that. Because I'll pull up even the dog trainers that have been bitten. They're right here on YouTube. Y'all remember I showed that woman who was a dog trainer got attacked? If a dog trainer can't stop a dog from attacking them, can't see the warning signs, or none of that stupidity, how can you expect the general public? Unbelievable. Y'all remember James McNeilis? This is all from this year. Huh? Now, I think this was the boy who, his mother, I think, forced him to go outside and play with these stray pit bulls. He came up to the window. He wanted to come inside the home. And the parents told him, well, dinner will be ready in a moment. Stay outside. The dogs killed him. Okay, so was this his fault? Are you saying that the source of these attacks was the behavior of the kids? No, no. The first step is you bringing these things into our society, and they should be removed from society. It's as simple as that. I know you remember Jack Liss, 10-year-old boy who was killed. Okay, he was playing outside. He was just playing outside. And this is how it happens a lot of times. These kids are minding their own business, playing. And here comes a mutt that has broken loose and is looking for somebody to attack. And they like to attack the most vulnerable targets. It's really that simple. We've watched so many videos of dog attacks here on this channel. And they never involve children antagonizing or doing anything to these dogs prior to the attack. Patricia, so what I'm asking is video footage evidence from you. Where are the articles from you where a dog attack was covered in the article and they indicate that the child was doing something to the dog first? Where are the video feeds? Where's the film of children doing things, behaving inappropriately shortly before an attack? I think this is a fair request. This is a fair request. All right, all you have to do, let me see, is do a simple search online. And you can find many examples. Here, let me share my screen. This is for the doctor. Okay, this is for Patricia Miller. You remember this? Okay.
Well,
and like I said, this is usually how it happens. This is how most attacks happen, according to the video film, to the film itself. Patricia, right? You remember this. Y'all remember this. This is the typical scenario. People are minding their own business. Here comes a dog running across the street. The dog runs right past two adults and attacks the child. Patricia Miller, are you aware that your comrades, your fellow professionals, have revealed that dogs prefer to attack kids because kids are smaller? Are you aware that there is physiological evidence behind dogs preferring to attack kids? They attack them because dogs know that they are more vulnerable. They are less capable of defending themselves. And you want to chalk these attacks up as stemming from misbehavior from the children? When you have these animals caught red-handed carrying out behavior like this, are we really going to have this discussion as adults? Here's another example. In your professional opinion, can you tell me what these kids are doing, how they are misbehaving? How are they misbehaving? Oh, what did this terrible child do? Huh? They're terrified. They're terrified of this dog. But you're telling me that they actually did something? So when we talk about preventing these types of attacks, why are we talking about something that you can't even provide an example of? You cannot provide an example of a child antagonizing or harassing a dog and being attacked because of it. You cannot find one example. So, I'm not going to recognize, I'm not going to acknowledge that bit of information from you. I'm just not. Dogs are dogs no matter where you are. Okay? No matter where you are. And what did this girl do? Got attacked by a pack of dogs. What'd she do? Huh? My goodness. There are more video footages. Yeah, y'all remember this. Okay, what'd she do here? Okay, so to prevent this from happening, you telling me we need to teach the kids how to behave? Okay. Okay. If you say so, you're the professional. You remember this, don't you? Look, you're the professional. Tell us, what exactly did this boy do to this dog? Okay, the dog sees him from afar. The dog knows that the child can't see him. This is the nature of dogs. Predators, bloodthirsty predators that get off on attacking harmless, innocent targets. No, dogs should be banned. They should be illegal. They are a safety hazard. They are a threat to the safety of everybody in the community. And the fact that they attack children 50% of the time or more, makes it even more important to ban them. Not rocket science. It's really just that simple. So I would like for you, Patricia Miller, to respond. Someone from Whole Dog Journal to respond. If you disagree with anything I talked about in this video, right? I hope to hear from you. Big shout out to everybody in the chat room, right? Big shout out. ABQ in the house. Chicks Driving. Charles Curry. King Trippy. Dump Dogs. Ashley in the building. Jonathan Payne. Bayou Raptor. Big shout out to all of you. Gling in the house. This is don't mind me. Every now and then, I'm going to go over stuff that you all know about. But every now and then, I have to challenge these experts. I have to challenge some of the stuff that they put out here. It's that they have to be held responsible. They should be pressed to substantiate the information that they put out here. That's not acid. That is fair game. You're the professional. You're the educated person. We want you to substantiate these claims. Simple as that. Right? You won't be attacked. Nobody's going to, attack you. But 100%, I'm questioning your credibility as a professional. I'm questioning your credibility as a professional. I believe you are giving the wrong information, misinformation to the public. And the position that you hold, you embracing the existence of dogs, is what causes dog attacks. not the behavior of children, bar none. Right? So I'll probably be on a little later. Definitely I have something to talk about in the members area. Hope to see you all there. Again, big shout out to all of you and your input, very much appreciated as we continue with this crusade against these worthless mutants and their enabling owners.